Hello there, I am Siti Khadijah and this is my group members Nur Atira, Sharifah Nuraina, Putri Zarid Sofia and Aida Sofia. So today we will discuss about taboos in event planning. But first, let's see what is event planning. Whether organizing a small meeting or a large conference, event planning is a huge task. Every event, no matter how simple or complex, require detailing, planning, and organization. Other than that, this is an example of managing a different types of event such as a meeting, convention, trade show, ceremony, team building, and party. Event planning includes budgeting, selecting event venue, developing a team, food planning, coordinating transportation, and lastly, managing event equipment. Next is the strategic event planning process. This is about creating goals that will tell you if your event meets your purpose or not. Firstly, development of event concept. This includes the theme and venue of the event. Secondly, event feasibility analysis. This is like the screening process and identifying challenges, opportunity of an event concept. Next, number 3 is decision to proceed with new event. Number 4, establishment of organizational structure. Next, strategic planning. Lastly, event legacy. This is long-term for a whole city from staging an event. These include potential economic, tourism, social, and physical environmental factors.
Noun. An inhibition or ban that results from social custom or emotional aversion.
Taboos in event planning. As you can see, the previous video tells you a simple definition of taboo. So basically, taboo is a ban on something based in a cultural sensibility that perceive it as excessively repulsive, sacred, or allowed only by certain persons. So what are taboos in event planning? We have listed you 4 taboos in event planning and we will go through it one by one. The first one is not planning early enough. As an event planner, do not procrastinate as venues are need to be booked well in advance. Why do we say so? The problem is that for many events, the deadline for planning is unclear. As a result, we think people frequently use simple heuristics to try to estimate how far in advance they need to plan and often think they should start planning later than they probably should. Second taboo is event organizers have to make sure to check that there are no competing events happening on the same day. Do not overlook competing events in the same event venue or area. Event planners have to consult to relevant calendars and find out what is happening to avoid any conflicting clash that could result in a traffic jam, not enough parking spaces, not enough restrooms available, sharing of common areas or unsolicited noise from the neighboring events or establishments. Next, not having an event project plan and checklist. An event plan or checklist is critical as it provides an overall view of how the project is progressing. It should be one of the first things an event planner do once they make a decision to plan an event. It is a guide to staying organized and on or ahead of schedule when juggling with the responsibilities and assorted details in planning a successful event. And it is particularly useful when managing multiple tasks. Forgetting one small task or falling behind on one deadline can result in a domino effect. Other seemingly unrelated aspects of your event can start to fall apart one by one. Lastly, not planning for low attendance or no-shows. Making an event requires event planners to do enough marketing to promote their event and launch a last-minute promotion if needed. A successful event marketing strategies also include effective promotional efforts that encourage potential attendees. Therefore, this could help to avoid the low attendance or no show up events. Promotion of the event encompasses various inbound and outbound marketing techniques such as email, social media, event discovery sites, retargeting, and search engine optimization or SEO. Moving on to the next part, which is effects of having taboos in event planning. Lack of planning is certain to result in shortages or delays of necessary materials. Without an analysis or proper planning of how often resources need to be replenished, these necessities will not be found where and when needed. The necessary resource might be something as small as staples for the stapler, or even a pen to sign any important documents, or as essential as running out of the materials of things needed for the event such as fabric used for the table decoration or the important things such as water supply. In all cases, an event project cannot flourish if the management of its resources is not being monitored and planned for. Competitive research provides the event management with tons of knowledge about competitors and markets. This bunch of data can be overwhelming. This is because competitive research provides an insight about competitors dealing in different market segments. If the management team work on filling the gaps at once, we may end up being frustrated and fail. Furthermore, failing to have proper project plan and checklist exposes the event to unpredicted high risks and problems, also one of the effects of having taboos in event planning. This leads to time wastage in trying to figure out of how to solve the challenges faces. Time is important especially in event planning, hence the funds of the event project will be used in solving the issues that arise from the project due to the poor planning. Subsequently, the project will be destined for failure. The people assigned to the various tasks on the project may not be the ones suitable for that because the planning was poorly done. This limits the event team members, hence the project fails. Lastly, not planning for low attendance leads to the less interaction, creating a feeling of emptiness within the event. This applies to both virtual and physical events where interaction with attendees is essential. The reason to the less than desirable attendance rate is because we don't think we have the connections we think we do. Sending out the invitations is relatively meaningless if those invites are not backed up by relationships that we have worked to build or through some value offered to the attendees. Moreover, we likely did a poor job of planning or sending invitation and RSVP tracking, which is a task often underestimated by event planners. And now we have come to the end. You have now cleared what is event planning, process of event planning, what is taboo, and effects of having taboo in event planning. Mistakes are made in business and in our personal lives on a regular basis. That is how we grow and learn. But some mistakes are costly. Events typically can survive minor slip-ups, some of which attendees may not even notice. But big blunders can ruin an event or make attendees so unhappy they complain to the event stakeholders. The resulting damage to a planner's reputation and career can be long-lasting. By reviewing these most common event planning problems and solutions will help you be more safe than sorry.